the U.S. economy has a case of foodflation.
This morning, new transparency from some stores about how tariffs are impacting your grocery bill.
The price supermarkets pay before the veggies make it to the produce aisle skyrocketed in recent weeks, rising by nearly 39% between June and July.
How expensive does food have to get before people finally pack up and leave their own state? Sounds extreme, but it's already happening. From bustling cities to quiet towns, families are moving, not for jobs, but because they can't even afford the basics anymore. A loaf of bread, a gallon of milk, a carton of eggs. Things that used to be everyday essentials are now luxury items. Some families aren't chasing better careers. They're chasing cheaper groceries. In this video, we're counting down the top 10 states Americans are leaving because food prices have simply become unbearable. Is your state on the list? Let's dive in. 1. Hawaii. In just 6 months of 2025, over 5,000 people left Hawaii, not for jobs, but because they couldn't afford to eat. A loaf of bread in Honolulu, once $4, is now $6. A can of milk that cost $3.50 is now $5.20. On Maui or Kauai, a pineapple costs $7 if you're lucky. Families bulk order from the mainland because shipping is cheaper than buying local. Fresh fish, once a Hawaiian staple, is now out of reach, with families settling for frozen at $7 a bag. Many have abandoned traditional meals for instant noodles. Locals quietly ask, is paradise still worth living in if food is a daily battle? 2. Texas. Texas once meant affordable living, farmland, strong supply chains, overflowing farmers markets. Not anymore. In just 3 months, beef prices at H-E-B jumped 40%. Frozen chicken breasts that were $6 now cost over $10. Even milk can be $3.99 in Austin, but nearly $6 in El Paso. No one knows why. It's grocery roulette. One Fort Worth woman drives 20 minutes just to save $2 on rice. Not because she's broke, but because she feels cheated. That frustration grows when bills climb while paychecks stay the same. Trust cracks. South of Houston, families are leaving. Not for jobs, but for survival. A place once proud of freedom and independence now forces hard choices. Have you ever put food back at checkout because the bill was too high? Or told your kids, we'll get it next week? Don't feel ashamed. You're not alone. This is a question for the whole nation. What kind of country are we living in if a simple meal feels like a luxury? 3. Florida. When is the last time you bought eggs, greens, or cooking oil in Florida at a price that felt fair? Grocery bills here have exploded. In just 3 months, essentials jumped 30%. Some items, like cereals, meats, and fruit, are up over 50%. And this isn't a temporary spike, it's a steady climb. Florida relies heavily on imports, and with supply chains breaking down, shipping costs soaring, and storms hitting harvests, families are paying the price. Wages aren't moving, but receipts keep getting heavier. Moms are choosing between milk for their kids or lunch for their husbands. Retirees are clipping coupons or skipping meals altogether. A state famous for sunshine and beaches is now a place people are abandoning because they can't afford to eat. And Florida is not alone. Moving out because of food prices is now a trending search online. If you live there, are you thinking about leaving too? 4. California. In Los Angeles, potatoes sell for $6.49. In San Jose, eggs are almost $8. A family in San Diego spends $400 a week just on groceries, even though they eat modestly. This isn't just hitting low-income households anymore. Middle-class families are cutting back, skipping Costco, and avoiding Whole Foods. Ironically, California produces much of America's food, yet locals can't afford it. Even surrounded by farms and produce, families are packing up and leaving. Not for jobs, not for housing, just because putting food on the table feels impossible. 5. New Jersey. For years, many said, I'll never leave Jersey. But now, that promise is breaking. In cities like Camden and Trenton, families open their fridge to find little more than bread and peanut butter. A box of cereal costs over $7, carrots over $4. Fruit has become a luxury. It's not just the prices, it's the fear. You can cut vacations, cancel nights out, but you can't stop eating. And when that becomes unaffordable, families give up and leave. Cars loaded with belongings drive out of once crowded suburbs, not for a better dream, but just to survive. Look at your own grocery receipt. Does it feel normal or does it shock you too? Because across America, millions are asking the same question. How much longer can we hold on? 6. Washington. Living near farms in Washington should mean fresh food at fair prices. But the reality shocks residents in Spokane, Tacoma, and Seattle. The closer you are to where food is grown, the more expensive it gets. Potatoes now cost nearly double what they did last year. At Safeway, a simple bunch of collard greens is $4.99, leaving shoppers stunned. Families are stretching every meal, reinventing leftovers, and turning bargain hunting into survival. Once proud of their state's farming legacy, people now cut back on groceries, cancel trips, even sell cars just to keep food on the table. And here's the chilling truth. If Washington, famous for apples, onions, potatoes, and carrots, can't feed its own people, what does that say about the rest of the country? Food prices don't care about geography. When they rise, everyone is vulnerable. Do you know someone who left Washington because living costs spun out of control? Their story matters. It proves this isn't personal failure. It's the system breaking down. And maybe you've asked yourself the same question. Is it time to leave my own state? 7. Illinois. In Chicago, a quiet migration is underway, not from crime, but from grocery prices. Eggs at Jewel Osco jumped from $2.89 to $5.49 in less than 5 months. Lettuce that once sold for 99 cents now reaches $3.50, more than fast food. Worse, many neighborhoods are turning into food deserts. In Southside Chicago, families, especially the elderly, drive over 30 minutes just to buy rice or milk. And not everyone can afford the gas. The irony? Illinois grows mountains of corn and soybeans, yet locals can't afford them. One farmer admitted, "I grow soybeans, but I can't buy them at the store." So families pack up for Indiana or beyond, chasing cheaper groceries. Imagine leaving your hometown because of a grocery receipt. That's reality in Illinois. And it's a warning. When food slips out of reach, home stops feeling like home. It feels like a burden. 8. Nevada. Forget the glitter of Las Vegas for a moment, because behind the neon lights, families across Nevada are facing a silent crisis. The soaring cost of groceries is forcing people to pack up and leave. Imagine a family working in a Vegas hotel. The parents wait tables. The kids go to school. Last week, their groceries, 2 gallons of milk, ground beef, and greens, cost $35. This week, $60. Some parents say just the baby food aisle can wipe out a paycheck. In places like Paradise or North Las Vegas, farmers markets have vanished or hiked prices by 40%. Shoppers abandon carts, skip meals, or swipe credit cards just to eat. One elderly woman admitted she now has to choose between buying medication or buying vegetables. "I never thought salad greens would feel like a luxury," she whispered. Even in rural Nevada, chicken prices are up more than 50%. Families pool money, buying food by weight instead of neat packages. The exodus has already begun. People selling belongings, moving in with parents, disappearing quietly. If every grocery bag makes you question a day's wages, you're not alone. Here, food isn't just survival, it's a warning sign. 9. Pennsylvania. At a small store outside Harrisburg, a young mother said her biggest fear wasn't rent. It was the price of eggs. What used to be $3.29 a dozen now nears $6. In cities like Scranton and Allentown, bills are up 40 to 50% for months straight. A father in Lehigh Valley recalled yogurt for $1.50, now $2.80. Watching his child toss half in the trash feels like throwing money away. Seniors near Pittsburgh admit they skip meals just to afford groceries. In Philadelphia, families stretch yesterday's lunch into today's dinner as if it were a survival strategy. There are no headlines, no warnings, just a quiet struggle that leaves people gasping in supermarket aisles. Have you ever stood frozen, deciding between milk or dinner? Between feeding your family or keeping the lights on. In Pennsylvania, those choices are becoming daily reality. 10. New York. Have you ever had to choose between food and electricity? In New York, thousands face that reality daily. A bag of potatoes, once under $3, is now $6. In Manhattan, almond milk jumped from $3.49 to almost $6, and no one even flinches anymore. In Brooklyn, working-class families now buy only bread and frozen vegetables. A mother whispered to her child, "We can only get one thing. You choose." In Albany, locals now receive food shipments from out-of-state relatives. New York, with its towering wealth, has become a place where the middle class can barely survive. Grocery runs end in tears, not triumph. And the real question is, how many more people must leave before the city admits, this isn't just economics anymore. This is survival. This was just the beginning. Hit that subscribe button and buckle up. Digital Garage has so much more in store.